So yesterday I made a video talking about the supposed leak specs for the Nintendo Switch 2 that came from a Taiwanese Economic Forum, and how they would actually be pretty disappointing if those ended up being real, as they don't actually sound like a substantial upgrade coming from the current Nintendo Switch, and it would actually sound more like a refresh and kind of just a moderate, small little increase coming from what we currently have, and that definitely doesn't sound like a next generation Switch 2, but rather more like a Switch Pro. And so after all of this information came out, we've had Necrolipe from Universo Nintendo, which I'm pretty sure is a Portuguese Nintendo fan website, come out and tell us that all of the information that the Economic Taiwanese Forum was telling us is definitely not true and you shouldn't believe it. But then they also shared some of the information that they've heard from their own sources, as well as like a secret source that they have that they put more faith into about what exactly the specs are going to be like for the next Nintendo system. And so we're going to be taking a look at that, but also as I'm making this video, a brand new article has just come out talking about a company that might have just leaked the Nintendo Switch 2 launch date, and there's some pretty interesting information inside of this, so we're going to talk about that in the second half of this video as well. Now, because Universo Nintendo is a Portuguese website, all of this information in the article is in Portuguese, so I can't really translate it accurately, but we do have somebody who on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit managed to compile all this information together, so that's what we're going to be taking a look at. And it just says here, Universo Nintendo / Necrolipe summary of Switch 2 technical specifications based on their own sources. So this is the stuff that Necrolipe is saying that they've heard from what the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be like, and to not believe like the Taiwanese Economic Forum stuff that we were talking about yesterday. So they're saying here that the SoC or system on a chip is going to be using the T239, which that's exactly what we've heard as well. It's going to be the NVIDIA T239 chip. That's what we've heard about. Apparently the TSMC N4 node process is going to be 4 nanometer. Not exactly sure what all of that is. Like, I'm not really too familiar with all the super technical details. It says here, 8-core A78C CPU, clock rates unknown, don't know what's meant by GA10F, this could be the GPU line, 12-stream multiprocessor GPU, performance ranging from 3.5 to 4.5 teraflops in docked mode, and 1.7 to 2.0 teraflops in handheld mode, 12 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes of RAM, it's going to be LPDDR5DR RAM, 100 gigabytes of memory bandwidth in docked mode and 88 gigabytes per second in handheld. Memory cache specifics remain uncertain, but the Tegra GPU cores may be able to access the CPU cache. The display is going to be an 8-inch with a 1080p and 60Hz refresh rate. The internal storage is going to be either 256 or 512 gigabytes, and the cartridge specifics are unknown, but 3D NAND may provide a cost-effective way to significantly increase storage. And then it says expanded external storage and battery details still remain unknown. And then it just says here, additional details referring to DLSS, reflex, and ray tracing with favorable comparisons to RTX 3000 graphics cards, full HD 1080p on handheld mode, a 512 gigabyte internal storage ceiling, and 500 gigabyte storage potential on cartridges utilizing 3D NAND technology. So I just want to say, if the Nintendo Switch 2 is anywhere near close to what Necrolipe is describing in this article, we are in for one of the best generations of Nintendo coming up, because this actually sounds like a really good, capable system if this is true. The stuff that we heard from that Taiwanese Economic Forum is very underwhelming and disappointing. This actually sounds really good. Like, not even like the super technical stuff, because I'm not really too familiar with it, but just the fact that like we could be getting 3.5 to 4.5 teraflops around that range in docked mode, that's already like close to a PS4 Pro or like an Xbox Series S level, and that's exactly the perfect amount that I feel like we would need to carry us for like the next 7 or so years. If this comes out in 2024, this could definitely take us up until like 2030, 2031, and you would definitely get some really good games for that entire generation. 1.7 to 2.0 teraflops in handheld mode, that would mean around like an Xbox One or PS4, like base PS4 level in terms of handheld mode. That's a very powerful system to have as well. 12 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes of RAM is definitely, I feel like, the minimum that you would need. Definitely 12, like you can't really have 8 gigabytes. It would be very disappointing if the system comes out with 8 gigabytes. The display being an 8-inch screen with a 1080p panel and a 60Hz refresh rate, that definitely makes a lot of sense to me. Like, I know the article that we were talking about yesterday said that Nintendo was going to be using a 120Hz refresh rate, and like that just sounds so bizarre and confusing, because like why would Nintendo be investing into 120 FPS when you're not going to be getting any Nintendo games really running at that. So getting just 60 Hz and having better games at 60 Hz, like a Tears of the Kingdom type of game actually at 60 Hz, would be amazing. We don't really need 120 FPS with Nintendo, and especially with the hybrid tablet-like system like this, you're not going to be pushing out 120 FPS. And then storage capacity being either 256 gigabytes or 512 gigabytes would be the perfect amount, I would say, as that is definitely a good amount to be able to store a lot of Nintendo games, as you're probably going to get like 25-30 gigabyte games now coming on the Nintendo Switch, and having 256 or 512, you definitely will be able to store a good amount on there, as 32 and 64 is just way too small to still be releasing that in 2024. Now, if you saw the video yesterday, then you know what I talked about at the end. Whenever you follow the news and speculation and rumors for any tech-related product, you should always expect reality to be a few notches lower than what you actually get from the leaks and rumors, as that pretty much happens with anything, even the Nintendo Switch. Like, never forget, there were articles coming out before the Switch was revealed saying that the NX was going to be more powerful than a PS4, and we all know how that ended up being, so it didn't end up being true. So more than likely, there's definitely going to be rumors that are going to end up being not accurate from what we've been hearing about with the Switch 2 as well. But I'm just saying, if the Switch 2 comes out and it's anywhere near what we're hearing from this Necrolipe report, we are definitely going to have an incredible system, and it's going to be amazing, especially for Nintendo's own first-party games. Alright, but now we're going to switch gears to the potential launch date that might have just gotten leaked for the Nintendo Switch 2, and this is coming just today from like a couple hours before I'm making this video, and this is really crazy because this is coming from a name that I haven't heard in a really long time, GameShark. Some of you watching this video might have never even heard of the name GameShark or know what it is, but back in the day with like Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy stuff, there was a company called GameShark that would release these cheating products or like cheating cartridges that you would put inside of your Game Boy to then load like a bunch of cheat codes inside of your games and get lots of cool hacks and things. And it was pretty fun back in the day to have a lot of these cheat devices and mess around. Like, I remember me and my friends always had like this one action replay that we would share around between our copies of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and we would all get like infinite Master Balls and trying to catch like a bunch of Arceuses and stuff. It was a lot of fun back in the day, and we don't really have those types of things anymore, but definitely some good memories that I have. And it seems like the company behind GameShark is now apparently going to be revived, and they're coming back, and they kind of had like an article where they were talking about this, but they also mentioned the Nintendo Switch 2. Alright, so here is the article from IGN. As it says here, Nintendo Switch 2 release date may have just accidentally been revealed by GameShark. For the last several months, it has been heavily rumored that Nintendo is working on a new Switch model, and it appears we might not have to wait much longer, as it is apparently releasing this September, according to AI Shark, formerly known as GameShark. Now let me just say, going to AI Shark from GameShark is such a downgrade, but it says here, announced in a press release and first spotted by Digital Trends, AI Shark revealed that it was reviving the GameShark brand and that it was relaunching in September 2024. The release window, according to the company, is planned to coincide with the Nintendo Switch 2. If you do not remember what GameShark is, it was a brand known for making various cheat code devices. Under this rebranding, however, AI Shark is supposed to be AI-enhanced software that is designed to aid individuals in improving their gameplay over time. AI Shark notes that this software is not designed to be a cheating tool, but rather it focuses on aiding individuals in improving their gameplay over time, and its target audience is casual gamers, according to the press release. As for the Nintendo Switch 2, this is technically our first whiff of a release window we've seen that's anywhere close to almost not really official. Nintendo hasn't even technically revealed the Switch's successor yet at all. It might be a Switch 2, or it might be something entirely different. We have gathered a number of details about the rumored console, which analysts have been predicting would launch this year, and there were rumors that Nintendo was demoing a console to partners behind closed doors at last year's Gamescom. We also know that Nintendo briefed Activision on a Switch successor in late 2022. For now, it's unclear whether this was an official release window that AI Shark let slip, or if this was an internal assumption that we should have never made it into a press release. We'll have to wait for Nintendo's official word to find out. Nintendo and AI Shark did not immediately respond to IGN's request for a comment. And so when it comes to this, I just want to say it has been known that Nintendo has not even shared information about their upcoming hardware and other closely secretive information to even their close developers that they're really good with in terms of their partnerships. So there is no way that I am believing that Nintendo has actually been briefing or giving secret information to a company called AI Shark of all things, and especially one that used to make cheating devices for their previous products. And so I don't think that the information that AI Shark is talking about here is like secret information that they've known from Nintendo, but rather maybe just murmurs and like rumors that they've heard from their own sources about exactly what Nintendo might be planning and when they're planning to launch the next Nintendo system. So that's what I feel like this is probably, and that this is most likely just an educated guess. But even if this is like information that they specifically know that it is going to be coming out in September, I feel like that does make a lot of sense. Like I feel like launching this system in September would honestly be the perfect time, as September would put it like right around fall, and it would also be just right before like the big holiday shopping season time begins in October, November, with Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and right around Christmas. So launching it in September would honestly make a lot of sense. There was another prominent leaker, I think named Soldier Delta, who leaked like the Rise of the Ronin game that's supposed to come out this month on the PS5. They also talked about how they heard from their sources that Nintendo was saying that they're launching the Nintendo Switch 2 in September, so this would add even more credibility to that, I feel like, and September just I feel like makes a lot of sense in general. And so hypothetically, if this system is coming out in September 2024, and we're going off of like the same 5-month promotional marketing cycle that they used for the original Nintendo Switch from like October 2016 to March of 2017 when it came out, that would put the reveal for this system at April 2024, which honestly I feel like is the perfect time and pretty much kind of what I've been expecting too, because April would be right after the Nintendo fiscal year ends on March 31st, 2024, so it would be the start of a brand new Nintendo financial business year, and to start off that year with the launch of their next generation system that everybody has been anticipating makes a lot of sense, and then just at the very end of it saying that it's coming out in September 2024. Now, I've actually been making a video talking about what I feel like the timeline is going to be for the entirety of 2024 with the Nintendo Switch 2, and that video is actually going to be coming out tomorrow because I wanted to come out on the anniversary of that huge, amazing Nintendo Switch presentation that happened in January of 2017, and so I'm going to be having that video going more into detail about exactly what I expect, so you can look forward to that video tomorrow. But this is pretty much the latest Nintendo Switch 2 information that we have right now in terms of the actual detailed specs for what the system might be like, and also the launch window, and that the system might be coming out in September of this year. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well, as I'm definitely gonna have some more videos talking about Nintendo's next system as the information comes out. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think about all of this. How would you guys feel if these are actually going to be the specs of the Nintendo Switch 2? I would be very excited. And how do you feel about the possibility of the system coming out in September of this year? But if you don't have anything to say, just comment your favorite emoji for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.